Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the first edition of the Planet Olympics. My name is Deanna Hooper, and I'm slightly off camera. Hi Gemma in first, great to see you. Hey Angela, great to see you. Thank you for joining everybody. So yeah, my name is Deanna Hooper, and I'm a theoretical physicist currently based at the ULB over in Belgium. Hey Bishop, great to see you. I have a PhD in cosmology, so that means that I study the universe, the contents of the universe, all of the cool stuff inside the universe. Hi Heavenly Juice, so nice to see you. Hey David, thank you for being here. Thank you everybody for joining. I'm getting a slight echo on my side. Please let me know if you're also getting an echo, because then I can correct it, because on my side I am hearing a strange echo. I hope, just let me know if you're hearing an echo or if the sound is good for you all. So yeah, I'm a theoretical physicist. I study the universe. Usually I'm here on Happs talking about the cosmos, about dark matter, about black holes, about stuff like that. But today we're doing something completely different. You hear me twice. Okay, yeah, that was my impression. What about now? Let's see if you still hear me twice. Sounds like I'm in a big space. Yeah, I don't know why I have such an echo today, because it's the same space I'm always in, and it's the same configuration I'm always in, and there's a slight echo. So let me just very quickly try to address the slight echo issue I'm getting here. Should be very quick. Just gonna turn my microphone down very slightly. Okay, I hope that's better. If not, yeah, it's more of an echo like a big room. Yeah, I'm hearing it on my side as well, but I am in exactly the same configuration I am always in. So I'm not sure why we're getting an echo today when we normally don't. But hopefully it won't be too disruptive. Let's just go with it and hopefully everything will be fine. Okay, so today, for the first time, to my knowledge, for the first time ever, we are going to be doing the Planet Olympics. So for the Planet Olympics, this is because Happs set the theme of the week to be Happs Olympics. I like the Olympics, I like planets. So today, instead of cosmology, we're going to be focusing on something a bit closer to home, which is astronomy. So today we are going to be talking about planets. And the theme of the day is, when it comes up on screen, I pressed the wrong button. Never mind, let's just do it like this. Okay, so the Planet Olympics. This is the theme of the day. I'm sorry, I got a bit distracted there by the echo, but let's just roll with it and go. So today, there are going to be 8 planets and 1 dwarf, because I know if I leave out Pluto, everybody will be upset. So Pluto is not a planet. Pluto is a dwarf planet. It got demoted. It's no longer recognized as a planet, but we still like Pluto, and I know everybody will complain if I didn't include Pluto. So today we have 8 planets, 1 dwarf planet. There are going to be 10 events. The planets are going to compete within these events. You disagree? I guess you're disagreeing about the echo. You know, other people are saying they're not hearing me twice. So maybe exit and come back in if you're still hearing me twice, because I'm not really sure what I can do about that today. Okay, so we're going to have 9 planets. We are going to have 10 events. Now, in each of these events, the planets are going to be competing for a gold, a silver, and a bronze medal. This is based on the Olympics. You disagree that there are 9 planets. I'm sorry, but scientifically speaking, Pluto has been demoted, and I'm a scientist, so I have to stick with science. I know we all like Pluto, and I am letting Pluto participate in the Planet Olympics because I know everybody loves Pluto. Thanks, Ian, for the Super Heart Award, and great to see you here. Thanks for joining. So 8 planets, 1 dwarf planet, 10 events. Now, there's going to be 2 sections to this. For the first 5 events, it's going to be based on some numbers, some properties of the planets. This is fixed. It is not like I fixed the results, but I will present the results. We will discuss why each planet wins in the specific categories. But the second half of the Olympics, of the Planet Olympics, the second part, the second 5 events, is entirely up to everybody watching. You will be able to vote. I will present the category and why each planet should win in that category or not win. And then it will be up to all of you to vote and decide which planet gets to win. Hey, Georgia, great to see you here as well. You know, if you want more science in your life, make sure you follow Georgia and Ian here in the comments. Great scientist as well. So before we get into the details of what events our planets are going to be competing in and how we're going to score them all, we should meet our contestants of the day, our participants. So let's do a quick fire round of all of the planets that are participating today. So of course, up first, we have Mercury. Hey, Pablo, great to see you. Thanks for being here. Now, my broadcast today is definitely not going to be as energetic as your Olympics were. I am not going to do a 1 hour bicycle ride. I'm just going to talk about planets because for me, that's a lot easier than doing a bike ride. Okay, so first up, we have Mercury, closest planet to the sun, covered in a lot of asteroid marks. It doesn't really have an atmosphere to protect it. Very close to the sun, quite small, rather pretty. We'll learn a lot more about all of these planets later on as well. Next up, we have second planet from the sun, which is going to be Venus. Venus is extremely pretty. You might have been able to see it many times here on Earth at the night sky. It is one of the brightest stars you can see in the sky. Has some very nice colors, and it has a fun thing that it has phases. So depending when you look at Venus, you will see it either full or in half or in a crescent, very similar to the moon. Hey, Lucia, thanks for being here. Great to see you. Next up, competing for our votes today, we are going to have our home world, this beautiful blue marble. Thank you for the Happs Olympics award. Beautiful blue marble, our very own planet, the only one we know so far capable of sustaining life. So, of course, Earth is going to be a big competitor here. Next up, we have Mars, fourth planet from the sun. Mars, the red planet, it has ice caps. Hey, Peter, great seeing you here. Thank you for joining. So for anybody who's just joining, we're just doing a quick rundown of all of the planets participating, and then we are going to jump straight into the first out of our 10 events. Ian saying here, you're a big supporter of Mercury. Yeah, Mercury is nice. Hold on to that thought though, because you will be able to vote for Mercury, but maybe you'll change your mind today. Okay, next up, entering today, we have the big, the huge, the beautiful Jupiter, with its many moons, its many storms, its many colors. It's definitely a planet to be reckoned with, a very strong contender today. I think we're going to see a lot of great things from Jupiter today. Never to be left out, Saturn. Amazing planet, beautiful rings. Looking at the rings of Saturn through a telescope is an amazing experience. If you ever get the chance to do it, I strongly recommend it. Next up, we have the Icy Giants. The Icy Giants we have here, first of all, is Uranus, and I know everybody loves its name, and it is kind of a very pretty pale blue color. So I see people are rooting for Jupiter, people are rooting for Mercury. This is great. The answer is always Uranus. Yes. You will get your chance to cast your votes, don't worry. The hexagon on Saturn, yeah, Ian, hold on to that thought about the hexagon because that will appear in one of the events. Okay, in 8th planet from the sun, we have Neptune, very pretty blue. It has a lot of storms. We'll learn a lot more about that later. Neptune, very, very pretty. And last contestant of today is everybody's favorite dwarf planet, Pluto. It has a heart on its surface. It's no longer a planet, but we will love Pluto, so it is definitely had to be in here today. So I already heard some complaints as to why I'm not including exoplanets. So thank you for the Super Heart Award. I'm pretty sure that Super Heart was for Pluto and not for me, but thank you for the Super Heart nonetheless. So unfortunately, I couldn't include exoplanets because their applications didn't get here in time to compete in the Olympics because they were a bit too far away, and really because it would have just been a lot more work to include all of those planets. But we have 9 planets, 8 planets, 1 dwarf planet. That should be enough for the first game. Okay, so for anybody who joined late, let's recap how this is going to work. There are going to be 2 parts. The first 5 events are not ones that you can vote on. The first 5 events are already determined by the planet's properties. The second 5 events are completely in your hands. I won't even have a vote in that unless it comes to a tiebreaker. So I will not be voting in the second part. This is kind of like with Eurovision for the Europeans out there, where first we have the votes from the judges, and then we have the votes from the audience. So we are starting with the votes from the judges, which in this case is me, but then we will move on to the rounds where you will get to vote, and I don't have much to say. So for the very first event of today, the event names will be appearing on the screens if I remember to push the notifiers to the screens. So we can already get started with the first event. And let me just push this to the program. For everybody here commenting, thank you so much. I hope you're all going to have fun with this. I've had a lot of fun preparing this. I've learned a lot. So I hope you all have fun as well. So the first event we're doing today are gymnastics. Now, for the event of gymnastics, of course, we can't really imagine Jupiter jumping on a bar or doing some groundwork. It's kind of difficult to imagine Saturn bending over. So in terms of gymnastics, the category we are focusing on is quickest spin. Which planet can spin the fastest? Pluto wins gymnastics. Gymnasts are small. I see you are very strongly rooting for Pluto here, Pablo. Don't worry, Pluto will be heavily involved in this game. You could imagine Jupiter winning a hot dog eating contest. I actually could see that too. Yeah, Jupiter would definitely win that. Saturn does work well on the rings. I appreciate that comment, David. That is indeed very amusing. But the first one we're going for is spin, but we're going for fastest spin. So which planet can move around the fastest? And we don't want to do the whole loop around the sun because that would be more doing a track exercise. It's really how fast can the planets spin on their own axis. So our comparison here is going to be Earth. Earth is also participating. Now we know that 1 day on Earth is 24 hours. Now, a day is measured as the time it takes the planet to do a full rotation on its axis. But usually we deal with solar days, so we take as our point of reference from the sun, and we want the same part of the Earth to come back and face the sun again. But we can actually also use what is known as sidereal time. In sidereal time, instead of using the sun as our point of reference, we use the background stars. So we are interested in how long does it take the planet to spin and do one full rotation with respect to the background stars. And when we do this with Earth, we get very, very... had my second vaccine on Friday and I am still feeling some of the side effects. So when we talk about sidereal time, the time it takes Earth to do one full rotation with respect to the background stars, we're actually slightly shy of the 24 hours. We come up with 23 hours and 56 minutes. So this is what we know as sidereal time, and this is what we're going to be using today. So the idea is we're going to go through all of the planets and see how fast they spin. Hey, Vader, great to see you here. Thank you so much for joining. I think you're going to have fun here today as well. So we're going to start, first of all, with Mercury. Now, Mercury takes an overwhelming 58 days to do one spin. So 1 day on Mercury is the equivalent of 58 days on Earth. Mercury is out there zipping around. Okay, next up we have Venus. And if you think Mercury was fast, you should wait until you hear Venus. Because Venus, 1 day on Venus, is 243 solar days. So if you are on Venus, it takes you 243 days. That's like 9 months to experience 1 day. And I'm sure we've all experienced Mondays that feel like they last 9 months. So Mercury was slow. It took 58 days to do one spin. Venus is even slower. Venus takes 243 solar days to do one spin. And it's not even that big. You think Venus and Mercury could speed up a bit, but they don't. Okay, on Earth, 1 day is 23 hours, 56 minutes. It's just very, very short of the 24 hours. Yeah, Venus is stuck in 15th century. It hasn't figured out technology, hasn't figured out how to go fast. It's just slowly doing its own thing. Okay, what about Mars? Now you might have heard about 1 day on Mars because we recently had the Mars Perseverance landing, the robot on Mars, and the people working on the robot have to work in Martian time. So 1 Mars day is 24 hours and 36 minutes. They get an extra 36 minutes. Everybody working on the Mars Perseverance landing rover actually now have to work with days that have 24 hours and 36 minutes. Okay, next up we have Jupiter. Now Jupiter is on the other end of things. Jupiter is pretty big. Jupiter is spinning pretty fast. It only takes Jupiter let's get this exact. It takes Jupiter 9 hours and 45 minutes to do one spin. So a day on Jupiter is 9 hours and 45 minutes. So basically, you do your day's work, you get food, and the day is over. You don't have 24 hours in a day on Jupiter. You only have 9 hours and 45 minutes. Yeah, Jupiter is off doing its thing. He is going fast. Next up, we have Saturn with its amazing rings. Now, Saturn is trying its best to keep up with Jupiter. It's really, really trying. But one day on Saturn is 10 hours and 30 minutes. So it's 45 minutes slower than Jupiter. 10 hours, 45 minutes. Still a lot faster than some other planets, but going a bit slower than Jupiter. Off-topic question, hypothetically speaking, would us living on Mars extend our lives by 36 minutes or shorten it? So you wouldn't really notice a big difference. If we were to live on Mars, we would have defined one day as being this like 24 hours and 36 minutes. So from our point of view, like one Earth year here, I'm just reasoning this out loud here. One Earth year for us, one day for us, they experienced 36 minutes longer. So by the time they've experienced 2 years, let me calculate that. Yeah, by the time they've experienced 2 years, we're slightly less. So for them, everything, 2 days, not 2 days, 2 days. So it would, if you're living on Mars, you experience longer days than on Earth. I hope that makes sense. If not, we'll come back to that, but do ask again if that doesn't make sense. Okay, so we've seen that Saturn is trying its best. It's got its days down to 10 hours, but it can't quite beat Jupiter. Jupiter is at 9 hours, 45 minutes. Next up, we have Uranus, everyone's favoritely named planet. Now, Uranus takes 17 hours to do one spin. It's a lot faster than some of the others, but it's definitely lagging behind Jupiter's amazing 9 hours, 45 minutes. Next up, Neptune. Okay, Neptune takes less than Uranus. It takes 16 hours to do one solar day, to do one sidereal day. So 16 hours, it's pretty close to Neptune, but it doesn't quite get there. You see, we're saving the best to last. Jupiter very in shape. Yes, Jupiter is in sleep. Uranus is too slow. And I'm sorry to disappoint all of the Pluto lovers, but Pluto actually takes 6 days to experience one day. So I know everyone thought we were just saving the best to last. I am always going to follow this order of going between Mercury to Pluto because I start closest to the sun and move outwards. Pluto takes 6 days to do one full day. And I'm sorry I did not decide this, but Pluto is just slow, which means that Pluto didn't even come in third this time, I'm afraid. Okay, so to recap, in third place on the bronze, we have Neptune with its 16-hour-long day. In second place on the silver, we have Saturn with its 10-hour day. And in first place, taking home the first gold of the evening, we have Jupiter with its 9 hours, 45-minute day. So we have the winner of our first event of the day. You missed the Waterworks Award. I didn't know the Waterworks Award had gone. And don't worry about Pluto. Pluto still has some tricks up its sleeve. Pluto is going to come back later on. And I'm sure when it goes to the audience votes, Pluto is going to get a lot of love. You remember learning a rhyme at school to remember the order of the planets. Oddly enough, I have to do the order of the planets in Catalan, because if I try to do it in any other language, I mix them up. But for some reason, I can remember them perfectly in Catalan. And now, actually, I have numbers on all of the planets to make my life quite easier. Thank you for the You're on a Roll award, Lucia. So just a reminder, we are going through the first 5 rounds quick. I would say pretty quickly, but we're 20 minutes in and we've only done one event. We are going to go through the first rounds pretty quickly, and then we will get to your votes, and then you can vote on the planets. Okay, so 20 minutes in, no CMB map. Today, I think there might not be a CMB map. I don't even have it loaded right now. Okay, so we have done gymnastics. Next up, if I can remember to push stuff to the screen, we are moving on to the high jump. So in terms of the high jump, again, we don't really want to think about planets jumping about. If the planets in the solar system started jumping about, it would really mess everything up for a lot of us. So it's probably good that the planets aren't trying to compete in high jump. But in terms of high jump event, what we mean is the lowest escape velocity. Thank you for the Creative Genius Award. I do appreciate all of the awards. So lowest escape velocity. So of course the first question is, what is escape velocity? Now the escape velocity is the speed at which you need to throw something for it to be launched into space. So if you're on a planet and you throw an object upwards, usually that object is going to fall back down because of the gravitational force. But there is a point where you can throw objects upwards with such an initial speed that they would overcome the gravitational pull and go out into space. And this is known as the escape velocity. It is the speed you need to overcome the gravitational pull of a planet. I'm speaking fast because I'm excited about the Planet Olympics, but I do need to remember to drink. Okay, so the reason we're calling this escape velocity one the high jump, imagine you have two planets, one with a very high escape velocity and one with a very low escape velocity. If you were to throw an object upwards on both of these planets and you throw this object with the same speed, on the planet with the lowest escape velocity, this object would get further up. And of course, here I'm doing the very big thing that physicists always do of completely ignoring the atmosphere. I'm just assuming there's no air friction and we throw things up perfectly. So we call this event the high jump because on two planets, what determines how high up an object goes when you throw it is the escape velocity. Just to give you an idea of how we compute or how we calculate the escape velocity. I know I promised you a fun Olympics and I'm just giving you a science lesson, but I promise we will get to the audience vote soon. So the way you calculate the escape velocity is conservation of energy. So there are a few things we can trust in the universe, and one of them is that energy must always be conserved. Now, when you throw something upwards, you have two energies involved. You have the kinetic energy, which is the energy any object uses when it is moving. And you have the potential energy, which in this case is the gravitational energy pulling it back down. So you have these two competing things. If you have too much gravitational energy, the object falls back down. If you have more kinetic energy, the object can go up. So to calculate the escape velocity, you find the velocity you need to make these two energies equal. At that point, the object would reach its perfect equilibrium. You give it a hint more and it goes up, you give it a hint less and it comes back down. Okay, so this time I am not going to go through the escape velocity of every planet because I realize that if I go through every single number for every planet, we're going to be here for 3 hours. So, just to mention, the escape velocity depends on two main things. It depends on the mass of the planet and the radius of the planet. But very, very interesting. Thank you all for the nice comments. Thank you, Vader. I appreciate that. And thank you, Bo. One very interesting thing is that the escape velocity does not depend on the object you are throwing. If you throw up a 10-ton truck on a 2 little bag of pasta, you need the same velocity to launch them into space, to launch them out and overcome the gravitational force. So it does not matter what object you launch up. Of course, to launch a truck at the same velocity as a pack of pasta, you're going to need a lot of machinery to get it to that velocity. But the velocity itself, the speed that you need, does not actually depend on the mass of the object. Does highest or lowest escape velocity win? Good question. I should have specified, yes, the lowest is going to win because we're going for the high jump. So we want objects to get as high as possible, which means we want a low velocity. So today, for this round, the winner is going to be the planet with the lowest escape velocity. Okay, so I am only going to announce the top 3. If anybody wants to know specific planets, you can ask me. I guess if you ask me online, then we'll just go through everything. On bronze, in 3rd place, with an escape velocity of 5 kilometers per second. So you need to launch an object at 5 kilometers per second for it to get out. And for anybody who uses metric, That is 11,310 miles per hour, or 18,000 kilometers per hour. But the escape velocity is usually given in kilometers per second. So in third place, with an escape velocity of around 5.03, we have Mars. Mars is taking home the bronze in the high jump. In second place, I just remembered I actually wanted to put planets around me while I was doing this and completely forgot that that was something I was going to do. In second place, with an escape velocity of 4.25 kilometers per second, we have Mercury. And in fact, let's bring them up. Let's do this. Let's bring them up on screen. So I said the bronze is going to Mars. The silver is going to Mercury. And now, for the winner, the planet with the smallest escape velocity, with an escape velocity of only 1.2 kilometers per second. 1.2 kilometers per second, very, very small escape velocity, and taking home its first gold of the day, we have everybody's favorite dwarf planet, Pluto. Pluto has the lowest escape velocity of all of the planets it's competing today. Its escape velocity is 1.2 kilometers per second, which is ridiculously low. You only need to throw something at 1 kilometer per second on Pluto for it to be launched out into the surface. I'm seeing a lot of love for Pluto in the comments, and this is nice. I like all the love for Pluto, and it reaffirms the idea that I definitely needed to include Pluto today. So in the first two rounds, we have had no overlap with the bronze, silver, and gold. We have had 6 different planets, 6 different medalists so far, no overlap. So for now, this is really everybody's game. You would like to send some people there? Yeah. We will get to that. We will get to that question as well. That question will come up. Still feeling the vaccine side effects. I'm sorry for the cough, everybody. Had my second dose on Friday, still feeling it a bit. Okay, so we have done gymnastics, we have done high jump. Next up, we have my favorite of this round, which is the swimming competition. So this is fun to think about, right? What do I mean when I'm talking about a swimming competition when it comes to planets? Because we don't really expect planets to go swimming. And I thought I could have cheated here and done like planets where you can find water, but we already did that in the broadcast. So today we're not talking about where can you find water. We're talking really about how well would the planets do in water. Thank you, Ian, for the nice feedback. Yeah, short-term reactions. Yeah. I just think I don't want this broadcast to be 3 hours. When we get to the audience vote, it should be a bit faster. I realize you just meant short-term reactions in terms of the vaccine. Yes, it's been 4 days. My side effects were clear. I had 4 days of symptoms after the first one as well. It's fine. I still strongly recommend everybody, please go out and get your vaccine. Okay, so round 3, we're doing the swimming competition. And here, what we are interested in is the density. So the idea here is if you take a planet and you were to put it in a big, huge ocean, and of course you need an ocean bigger than a planet here, what would happen? Thank you for the high five, award. Would the planet sink? Would it float? Would it do something in between? And in fact, there is one planet in our solar system that would float on water. There is one planet that if you were to put it, or put an object of the equivalent density on water, it would float. Your money is on Jupiter for this round. Okay, do keep your bets coming. See what everybody thinks here. Which planets are going to win this round? So the idea here is we're looking for the planets that are least dense. And just as a comparison, I'm going to start by telling you about Earth, and Earth is not among the top 3 here. Now, the average density on Earth, we have to calculate the average density here. I guess, Bo, you're voting for Pluto again. So, okay, so the average density of Earth. Pablo, you missed Pluto winning a medal. Pluto won the escape velocity medal or the high jump medal. Currently, Pluto has taken home 1 gold. So, Pablo, you missed Pluto taking home its first gold of the day. It might not be its last. We'll see. Thank you for the appreciative word. I know that's for Pluto and not for me. Okay, so the average density of Earth is about 5.5 grams per cubic centimeter. Now, we always express it in grams of cubic centimeter. So we are looking for our 3 least dense planets, the planets that would do well in a swimming competition. I saw that there were some people saying they're betting on Jupiter here, but I'm going to start, as before, with the planet in bronze, in 3rd place, taking home the bronze, with a density of 1.33 grams per cubic centimeter. In 3rd place, we have Jupiter. So Jupiter has a pretty small density, but it would still sink in water. In order to float on water, you need a density of less than 1. So at 1.33 grams per cubic centimeter, Jupiter comes in 3rd. Okay, in 2nd, and I just remembered I should be putting planets up with me. So we have Jupiter. Jupiter has taken home the bronze. Now in 2nd place, in silver, taking home the silver with a density of 1.27, so very, very close to Jupiter's 1.33, we have one of the ice giants, we have Uranus. And now the final one, taking home the gold with a density of 0.7, which means it would actually float on water and therefore has to win the swimming competition. Taking home the gold, it will be Saturn. So Saturn is actually, Saturn has a density that it would actually float on water. Saturn's density is only 0.69 grams per cubic centimeter. It got gold. Saturn got gold. Yeah, Gemma, you called that one. I see a lot of people giving love to Saturn and to Jupiter. Sorry, Pluto is not in competition this time. Pluto does quite badly in this round. Thank you for the nice comment, Gemma. I appreciate that. Okay. So, you think like a stone, you're very dense. Yeah, me too. But don't worry, you're in good company because so does Mercury, so does Earth. All of these just sink as well. Yeah, poor Neptune, god of the sea and no swimming medal, you'd think, right? You'd think with that. Okay, so we are 3 rounds in. So far, we've had a gold for Jupiter, a gold for Pluto, and a gold for Saturn. We have different medalists all around. Reminder, there are 2 more rounds of me just here rambling, and then we move to the public vote. You're more dense than Saturn. We all are more dense than Saturn. Don't worry, Lucy. It's not just you. Most of us are going to be more dense than Saturn as well. Do you have a running medals table? I have a medals table computed after the first 5 events, and I'll show it to you then. Then we'll do I don't obviously have the medal table for the last part because I have no idea what everybody's going to vote for. Yeah, Saturn does have its floaty rings. It kind of has like its floaties to keep it afloat. Yeah, maybe Saturn cheated. Okay, so we have done gymnastics, we have done high jump, we have done swimming. The next one that we have is my favorite one that I had problems finding a name for because these names are not easy. And the next one we have is the oddball. And what do we mean by oddball? By oddball, we are looking for the most eccentric planet. So every planet plus Pluto, I'm going to keep reminding people that Pluto is not a planet, even though it's entered the competition. Every planet orbiting the sun orbits in an approximate circle. Thank you for the piece of word, Vade. I do appreciate it. Okay, so every planet orbiting the sun orbits in an approximate circle, but it is not always a perfect circle. Some of them orbit more like an ellipse. When we're talking about how elliptical is a planet's orbit, we describe this as its eccentricity. You might be familiar with the word eccentric. It's what we call somebody who might be a bit strange, a bit odd, a bit out there, which is why this event is called the Oddball, for the eccentricity. Hey, Stephen, welcome. Hope you're going to have a good time here. We're rating planets, we're having fun, we're doing Olympics. Currently, it is the Oddball round, where we are looking for the most eccentric planet. Now, the eccentricity here is telling us how much their orbit looks more like an ellipse than like a circle. Okay, which state or region on Earth would win? Ohio, Shandong? I've not been to those, and I don't think I've been to any of those actually, so sorry, can't answer that question. Okay, so eccentricity. We want to know how much it deviates from a perfect circle. And for sure, no one here could ever be described as eccentric. Definitely not. Us scientists are definitely not eccentric. And I think on Happs there's a pretty good mix of eccentric people that are awesome people here on Happs. Okay, so thank you for the Happs Olympic Award, Georgia. So we are looking for the most eccentric planet. So here, the planet that is the most elliptical in its orbit is going to win. Now, the eccentricity is always a number that is between 0 and 1. 0 means it's a perfect circle, and the closer the number is to 1, the more eccentric it is. So here we are looking for the largest number, and keep your bets coming. I've seen some love for Mars, I've seen some love for Neptune, I've seen some love for Pluto, as always. Keep your thoughts coming, keep your guesses coming. You're guessing Pluto wins this one? Okay, so let's see. Now, all of the planets, most of the planets have very small eccentricity, but there are some exceptions. So remember, we are looking for the highest number, which means the largest number. 1 would basically be a straight line, yeah, so it never reaches 1. We say it is between 0 and 1, but it is physically impossible for a planet to have an eccentricity of 1. It gets very, very close, but it cannot be 1. And 0 means it's a perfect circle. Okay, so in third place, taking home the bronze for the eccentricity, with an eccentricity of 0.093, we have the red planet Mars. Mars has an eccentricity of 0.093. Earth is playing, Earth is competing. The problem is Earth is just not doing very well. In terms of eccentricity, Earth has 0.017, so it is very low in this round. But Earth is here, don't worry. It's just not doing so well right now. Okay, next up, on the silver. Well, in this case, actually, Pablo, you're saying we live on the wrong planets. The fact that Earth isn't too eccentric is actually good for us, because if the Earth had a very elliptical orbit, we would actually go out of the habitable zone. So we'd go to a region where we wouldn't be able to sustain life. So it is actually good in this case that Earth is not doing well in this round. Okay, so we had Mars on bronze with an eccentricity of 0.093. In second place, with an eccentricity of 0.2, much higher, eccentricity of 0.2, we have Mercury. Okay, and just catching up with some comments, yeah, some humans are definitely on the wrong planet, yeah, but it's the only one we have for now. Not fair on Earth, though, it's got a nasty infection, yeah, it has a few to deal with. Okay, so we have Mercury on silver, we have Mars on bronze, and taking home the gold in eccentricity with an incredible eccentricity of 0.25. 0.25 is ridiculously eccentric, very, very elliptical orbit. Taking home the gold for the second time today, we have Pluto. So Pluto has the most eccentric orbit in the solar system. Its orbit is extremely elliptical. It is also slightly off orbit, so most of the planets orbit on one plane like this, and Pluto is kind of doing its own thing orbiting on that plane. It's not so exaggerated, it's about 20 degrees off. Pluto is just extremely eccentric, doing its own thing. Pluto has just taken home its second gold medal. Pluto is indeed not a planet, but I decided to let Pluto enter the Planet Olympics because I know there would be a riot if I didn't. If I excluded Pluto from the beginning, I would lose half of you already. Okay. Right, so Pluto, that's our planet. Yes, I see a lot of love for Pluto coming in. If Pluto wins the awards table, can we petition to have its planet status reinstated? You can petition. People frequently petition. It's not going to work, though, because scientifically speaking, I'm sorry, but Pluto is not a planet. But We do love Pluto, and I see everyone in the comments is giving Pluto a lot of love, and that is why Pluto is included here. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Pluto got removed as a planet because it's just too good to be in the planet club. Okay, so thank you for the comment, Heavenly. Thank you, everybody here. So we have just done 4 rounds where I'm voting. We have one more, not really I'm voting, I'm just giving the science here. We have one more round like this, and then we move into your votes. The second half of this is purely up to you. Okay, so the final round we are doing, the final round where I am having the say before I pass it all over to you, is the teamwork award, the teamwork event, sorry. Teamwork event where we are looking for the planet with the most moons. One more, yeah, there are still a lot of rounds to go, Heavenly. We have 10 rounds in total. Okay, so for the teamwork award, we are looking for the planet with the most natural moons, most natural satellites. Now we know that Earth has one, it has our pretty moon. Some planets don't have any, like Mercury and Venus, they have no moons. So we are looking for the planet with the most moons. I see people are giving some love to Jupiter in the comments. Keep your guesses coming, see what you think. No plastic surgery moons, no, I want all natural moons. Okay, so moons in general, so we count natural satellites. Every planet can have natural satellites. Ours is called Moon. All of them are actually moons, and we just called ours Moon. So we are looking for the planets with the most moons. This is the teamwork event. So we want the planet that has the most companions. We want the planet that has the most moons. Okay, and I see some guesses already coming in. So we're going to just do the top 3 again here. I'm going to mention that 2 planets have no moons. Mercury and Venus have no moons. Pluto actually has more moons than you expect. Pluto has 5 moons, which is a lot more moons than I expected it to have, but Pluto does have 5 moons. Okay, yeah, Earth wins in terms of unnatural satellites, but unfortunately we're focusing on the unnatural satellites. Okay, lots of love for Jupiter here. Yeah, Pluto has 5 moons, it's incredible, right? Okay, so in 3rd place, taking home the bronze with 27 moons, we have, planet with the best name, we have Uranus. 27 companions. Uranus has 27 moons. I did not actually know that it had so many. Okay, and I see there's some people here in the comments. Is it Saturn? Is it Jupiter? Which one is going to win? So, in second place, taking home the silver with an overwhelming 80 moons, with an overwhelming amount of moons, 80 moons, in second place, we have Jupiter. Second place silver goes to Jupiter. Okay, Uranus has 27 companions, yes. I'm trying my best to not slip up with comments like that because I know everybody's going to have fun with it, but yeah, it's going to happen. When Uranus comes to play, everything is like this. Okay, so we've got Uranus in second with 27 friends. We have Uranus in third with 27 moons. We have Jupiter in second with 80 moons and taking home the gold for the second time today with 82 moons, a ridiculous 82 moons, beating Jupiter only by 2. We have Saturn. So Saturn has currently at least 82 moons, and these are 82 moons that we have decided are big enough to give them a name. Jupiter has 80. Uranus has 27, and I'm seeing again some people hating on Pluto, some people loving Pluto. Pluto only has 5 in this case. Okay, so we are through the first 5 rounds of the day. We have already done 5 rounds, and these were the 5 where I was deciding. Or not me, the science was deciding, but obviously I picked which rounds we were doing. So let's just do a quick recap currently. And we will do it in the same way the Olympics does. Big moons, yeah. Okay, so currently we have tied for 2 gold medals, Saturn and Pluto. But currently Saturn is on top of our table because Saturn has 2 golds and 1 silver. So currently Saturn sits at top of our table. Okay, so David here has an excellent question. Who has the most moons as a percentage of their mass? And this is actually Pluto. This is one of the reasons that Pluto doesn't count as a planet, because it has objects close by. One of its moons is almost as big as Pluto, which means it's kind of not a fully formed planet. We used to call it a planet because we thought the moon and Pluto were the same object. And then when we got better satellites and we saw that they were 2 different things, we realized we could actually no longer call it a planet because this moon is too big. What is the function? They don't really have a function. They're just there. I mean, our moon regulates our tides. Without the moon, we wouldn't have the tides. Yes, Chiron is indeed, Charon, I believe. Charon is the Pluto's moon. So these moons don't necessarily have a function. Some of them are just stray rocks that came close and the planet sucked them up and decided that one's mine now. Pluto is a dwarf planet. It's one that is not big enough to be a full planet. It's a dwarf planet. There are actually 4 or 5 dwarf planets in the solar system, including ones like Ceres and Sedna. But we don't count those because we know they're small. But we used to think Pluto was bigger, and then we realized it was actually too small to be called a planet. So in fact, our moon was formed when a big asteroid hit the Earth and ripped a chunk of Earth away, and that's how our moon was formed. Pluto has the biggest heart. It does, yes. Pluto has the biggest heart, and that's what matters. Unfortunately, there is not an event of who has the biggest heart, so sorry, there isn't that event for Pluto today. Okay, so we have done the rounds where you don't have a say. We have done the first 5 rounds. For the next 5 rounds, it is entirely up to you here in the comments, wherever you're watching from. The next 5 rounds will be decided entirely by you. Let me just bring up my map of all planets, which has been sat here and I haven't used yet. Let me just change that round. This one should be number 1. Okay, so we have our 9 planets: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Dwarf, Pluto. Intensely buys coins. Actually, you don't need to use coins to vote. It's just going to be in a way that's going to stress me with counting the votes, but don't worry. Get your buzzers ready, your voting fingers ready. I mean, if you want to buy coins, go ahead. But you won't need to use coins to vote today. So, there are going to be 5 rounds. And I just want to review how we're going to do the votes, because I need to tally all the votes. So you will only have 30 seconds to vote because I'm going to use the Happs countdown. So thank you, Lucia, for the award. So the way this is going to work, I am going to put the countdown on the screen. And as the countdown appears, I'm going to put a comment saying voting is open. At that point, you are allowed to vote for your planet for the different event. Once the countdown stops, my voice is gone. Once the countdown has stopped, then I will write a comment saying voting is closed, and I will only count the votes within my 2 comments. I will tally the votes and then announce who is in 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. In the event of a tie for 3rd and 2nd place, I will cast a deciding vote. In the event of a tie for the 1st place, we will go to a knockout round. Now, we're going to have 30 seconds. I know someone is saying there might be a problem with the Happs lag. Yes, thank you, Pablo. Once the voting is open, please only comment with your votes. When the voting is closed, we can carry on the discussion and the conversation. But in the 30 seconds when the vote is open, please only write the planet that wins. Now, if writing the name of a planet is too long, you can also use the numbers that you see on screen from 1 to 9. So if you want to vote for Pluto, you can type either Pluto or number 9. Now, I know there is a slight Happs lag. It's very small by now. The lag is like 1-2 seconds, so this should be manageable. And after the countdown has stopped, I still need to type my comment of voting is closed. So that should account for the lag. Okay, if anyone has any questions, yeah, the lag on Happs is amazingly down. I know it was big in the beginning, but now there's just practically no lag here, which is why I think this is going to work. Okay, so I hope everybody is clear on the voting. If you have any questions about the voting, feel free to ask. If there are no questions, we can get into the first round that you will vote. So this is the 6th event of the day. Start thinking of who you're going to vote for when I announce the competition, but remember that your votes will not be counted yet. So for now, you cannot vote, but you can start thinking. So the first round we're going to do here is the beauty contest. Which planet do you think is the prettiest? Which planet do you look at and think, wow, that's so pretty? Maybe you love Mercury's marked surface with all of the asteroid, or Venus's pretty, nice, delicate hues. Who could say no to the blue marble? Remember, your votes do not count yet. Mars, pretty rare. Jupiter with its amazing bands. Saturn, rings. Uranus, a nice pale blue. Neptune, a deep blue. And of course, Pluto, showing us its heart all the time. I hope you are ready. I hope you have thought of which planet you think is the prettiest, because we are getting ready for the first vote. As soon as the countdown comes up and you see my message, you can start voting. So for anybody following on Twitter, you will not see my messages. You can vote as long as you see the countdown on the screen. The countdown is not yet on the screen. So we are opening votes in 3, 2, 1. The vote is open. We are voting for the prettiest planet. We are voting for which planet we think is the prettiest. And I'm going to tally the votes as they come in. And the vote is now closed. Okay, we did the first round of voting. So now I need 30 seconds to just tally all of my votes here, because I know I did get distracted halfway through, unfortunately. I should make a note of where I stopped there. I'm just tallying all the votes. I know I probably could have got somebody here to help me with this. And okay, I am surprised here. Anyone feeling the pressure? I hope so. Now you can go back to general comments, to discussing. The vote is closed for now. And let me just tally up the votes. This is nice. We have a very clear winner here. Okay. The top two are very easy. Now we do have a tie for the 3rd place. Okay, so yeah, if anyone else is counting here, you can already figure out who's won. So tied for number 3, which means I get the deciding vote. So tied for bronze, we have Neptune and Earth with 2 votes apiece. And I am actually going to vote for Earth because our pretty blue marble planet is spectacular. So it has to take home a medal for this. So I am voting for Earth in the tie here. So now Earth comes in 3rd for the bronze medal. How dare I not vote for Pluto? Pluto only got your vote in this round, Pablo. Not many people voted for Pluto here. Okay, so bronze, we have Earth. In 2nd place, taking home the silver, we have Mars. I was surprised. A lot of people voted for Mars. I wasn't expecting so many votes to come in for Mars. Okay, I'm also very surprised that Jupiter only got 1 vote. I was really expecting Jupiter to do better this round. Pablo, are you getting upset that Pluto only got 1 vote? Don't worry, there are other rounds and Pluto can do better. Okay, and taking home the gold for the beauty competition, Saturn with 4 votes. And honestly, I kind of agree, because look at those rings. How can you not vote for Saturn? Earth is beautiful, yeah. Saturn demolishes the entire solar system. It should, yeah. Saturn is indeed very, very pretty. Okay, so let me just add this to my table so I don't lose track, and we will move on to the next round. Okay, that was the first round of votes. I hope it was good for everybody. Honestly, this is very stressful. And I'm counting all the votes, and you're all voting for clearly the wrong planets. Okay, so Saturn currently has 3 gold medals. Saturn is doing well. And I knew there was no way I would finish this forecast in 1 hour. Okay, so we move on to the 7th event of the day. And this one requires a tad bit more explanation from me, but we are going to move on to the legacy vote. Now, some of this has already come up before. You might have seen hints of this in the comments and some people already mentioning this. So now we are looking for the planet with the best namesake. So almost all of the planets have been named after a god. And we want to know which planet has the best name. Remember, you cannot vote yet. Now, for this round, planet with the best namesake, not just the best name, but the best namesake, the best origin. For this round, unfortunately, Earth is immediately disqualified because Earth is literally named after dirt. So I'm sorry, but Earth is disqualified from this round. I would say I don't make the rules, but I do make the rules. Earth cannot participate in which planet is named after the best thing. So, to review, what all of the planets are named after. Mercury. Most of the planets are named after Roman gods. Mercury is the god of financial gain, communication, travelers, and trickery. Its Greek equivalent is the god known as Hermes. We can call Earth Gaia, it is nicer, but Gaia on Earth is not participating in this round, so it's not named after God, it doesn't get to participate. Venus, named after the Roman goddess Venus, goddess of love, beauty, fertility, and victory. It is the Greek equivalent of Aphrodite. Earth, we already said, is disqualified. Mars is named after the Roman god of war and agricultural guardian. I will remind you all of this before we go into the votes. Now, the Greek equivalent of Mars is Eris. Okay, next up we have Jupiter. Jupiter is named after the king of gods, the god of thunder and lightning. It is the Roman equivalent of the Greek god Zeus. Hard to beat that. Saturn is named after the god of harvest, the god of plenty, the god of wealth. In Greek, this god is known as Kronos. It is also the god of time. Uranus is actually, fun story, Uranus is the only planet, apart from Earth, that is not named after a Roman god. Instead, it is named after a Greek god. And I think it's just because they wanted to call it Uranus. But Uranus is the Greek god of the sky. In Roman, it is called Caelius. So actually, Uranus should be called Caelius. Patron deity of proctology. Exactly. It took me a second to realize what you meant there, Ian. It was a bit slow on the uptake there. Okay, next up we have Neptune, beautiful blue. Neptune is named after the god of the seas. Its Greek equivalent is Poseidon. And Pluto. You might not know this, but Pluto is named after the ruler of the underworld. It is the Greek Hades. So Pluto was the Roman equivalent of the Greek Hades, ruler of the underworld. And that is also a tough one to beat. So as a reminder, here, I hope you can read it properly. Pluto is a dog, yes, but the planet itself was actually named after the god of the underworld. We kind of demoted the god of the underworld and then got surprised that the whole world went to shit. So maybe we want to revisit that. Thank you, Peter, for the Happs Olympics award. So just to remind us how this is going to go, I will click on the countdown. I will send a message saying voting is open. At that point, you can cast your votes. You have 30 seconds. When the countdown ends, I write a message saying voting is closed. You have those 30 seconds to cast your vote. You can either give me the name of a planet, which honestly makes it slightly easy for me, or you can give me a number and we will tally the votes. So I hope you get ready. I hope you've made your decision. You don't have much time. You have all of the names and the namesakes here on screen. Starting the vote in 3. I should scroll up so I can find it. Starting the vote in 3, 2, 1. The vote is now open. Get your votes coming. This time I'm not going to attempt to count them in between. I'm just going to wait until they're closed and do it at the end. Get your votes coming in. I'm surprised Pablo is not voting for Pluto. Okay, votes coming in, votes coming in. You have 10 seconds to go. Let's see. 5 seconds to go. You can feel the pressure here. And the vote is now closed. Okay. One vote came in like half a second after my message. I will count that one as well. Let's see. Let me go do the tally of votes, and it's easier this time that I didn't try to do it halfway. Okay, so we have, let's see. Seeing a lot of love for Venus here. Just counting all of the votes. Gonna take me a minute here. Okay, I'm seeing there is a very, very clear winner this time. Okay, so we have 3 planets tied for the 3rd place. Ah, that's a double vote. Thank you for pointing that. Oh, actually, there's a triple vote here. Please don't cheat. It makes it very hard for me to keep track. I'm trusting you all to only vote once. I now have to disqualify 2 because it was a triple vote. Please don't vote more than once. I have to keep track of everybody's votes, and I just assume that everybody is playing fairly. So if there is a double vote, thank you for mentioning it and calling it out. I won't count the double votes. Okay, that has been fixed now. Okay, so, no, I appreciate you reminding me that it was a double vote. So, there are 3 planets tied for the bronze, tied for 3rd place, which means I get to cast a deciding vote. So we have some love for Neptune, we have some love for Jupiter, and we have some love for Mercury. So in 3rd place, with me casting the deciding vote here, it has to be Jupiter, because Jupiter is named after the god of thunder and lightning, and that is really cool. So in 3rd place, we do have Jupiter. Let me just catch up with comments. Oh, you thought you could vote multiple times? Sorry, I didn't specify. No, we do vote only once. I should have mentioned that. Okay. Yeah, I just got distracted by the pink comments, but it's fine. They're not relevant for me. Okay, yeah, Ian, you are actually one of my moderators, so that's why you can see everything. I thought I told you, apparently not. You are one of my moderators. Okay, so in 3rd place, we had Jupiter. In 2nd place, taking home the silver this evening, a couple of people are giving some love to Uranus. Now, I know why. This planet always gets some love in this case. So Uranus comes 2nd, taking home the silver. And with an overwhelming 6 votes, once I've discounted the double and the triple votes, with an overwhelming 6 votes, Venus comes in 1st. Venus takes home its gold. I believe this is the 1st gold that Venus has taken home so far. In fact, Venus actually just got its 1st medal. So Venus has just won its very 1st medal. Let me add this to the chart so I do not lose track. We had Jupiter in 3rd. We had Uranus in 2nd because people love its name, and I don't think that was voting for the god. And we have Venus in number 1. Okay, awesome stuff. 7 rounds down, 3 to go. I hope everybody is having fun. I can feel the excitement here. I'm running out of voice. I'm sorry if I don't keep up with all the comments. I have the voting to do, or the keeping track of the votes, or things, the images, but I will try to get to everybody's comments as well. Okay, Venus is just so dominant in this sport. Yeah. I mean, it is the only woman entering, so, you know, Venus had to do well here. Okay, so we have done the beauty contest. We have done the legacy. And now, let me switch back to this image and get rid of this image. Now we move into what is actually my favorite event of the evening, And this is the event where I learned the most preparing for this. I went down a rabbit hole and spent like 3 hours yesterday researching for this event. So I am really, really excited about this event. The 7th event, we are now focused on the extreme sports. We are looking for the planet with the best weather phenomena. You might make a joke here that I'm a typical Brit. I talk about the weather to fill a gap, but some places in the solar system have some pretty extreme weather events. Some like really, really crazy extreme weather events. You get to choose which weather event is best. Remember, you cannot vote yet. First, I do the info dump, then we move on to voting. Okay, we're going to go through in the same order we've been using so far for every round, starting with Mercury, finishing on Pluto, not a planet, but still participating. On Mercury, there is the biggest temperature difference between day and night of anywhere in the solar system. So, Mercury has no atmosphere, which means its temperature can change by hundreds of degrees. During the night, the surface temperature on Mercury drops down to minus 173 degrees Celsius, which is minus 280 degrees Fahrenheit. Minus 280 Fahrenheit, minus 173 Celsius at night. But during the day, it can go up to 425 degrees Celsius and 800 degrees Fahrenheit. So in terms of Celsius, we're talking here about a 600-degree variation. In terms of Fahrenheit, we're talking about almost a 1,000-degree variation. This is pretty extreme hot and cold fluctuations. You cannot live there either during the day or during the night. So Mercury is on fire, but it is also freezing at night. You can't go there anytime. So Mercury, extreme weather conditions. I'm seeing people already showing some love to some of the planets here. Now we get to Venus. Now, despite the fact that Mercury is closer to the sun, so how about in the middle? You probably could find a very small spot on Mercury where you could survive. We've already seen that it moves pretty slowly, so you do have time to move around, but you should probably just avoid Mercury altogether. But despite the fact that Mercury is closer to the sun, Venus actually gets hotter. And the reason for this is that Venus has a ridiculously thick and ridiculously dense atmosphere. In fact, the pressure, if you were on the surface of Venus, the pressure you would feel would be the same pressure as if you went 900 meters, nearly 1 kilometer underneath the ocean. So the pressure on Venus is so high. It's just unimaginably high. And because of the high pressure, it also has really, really high temperatures. On average, Venus has a temperature of 470 degrees Celsius, which is 870 degrees Fahrenheit. Talk about a heat wave. Venus is ridiculously hot. But because of the combination of the gases it has in its atmosphere, the dense atmosphere, and the temperature, it has two really cool weather phenomena. The first one is that there is acid rain, sulfuric acid rain. So this is because there is sulfur, it vaporizes, it can form these sulfur clouds that fall down as sulfuric acid rain. But don't worry, because if you're on the surface of Venus, this rain would never reach you. It is so hot there that this acid rain evaporates before it reaches the surface. And if acid rain is not metal enough, Venus actually has snow that is made of literal metal. This is because there are some metals in the surface of Venus. These can slightly vaporize because of the ridiculous heat. They leave behind a very small metal residue that falls down like snow. So we are going for cool weather events. Venus has acid rain and metal snow. It's kind of hard to beat that. Next up, we have Earth. And I'm not going to go into detail about this because we know the weather on Earth. We have hurricanes, we have cyclones, we have lightning storms, we have El Nino, we have these amazing weather phenomena. So, and sharknadoes, I don't think there are actual sharknadoes, but we have amazing phenomena here on Earth. I'm not going to go into detail because we all know about all of the cool things that happens on Earth. And I think Earth might be a good contender this round. Would be time because Earth currently hasn't really won much. It did win a silver before, sorry. No, a bronze. Next up we have Mars. Now Mars, the red planet covered in dust, used to have water, doesn't have water now, we think, still has ice caps. Mars has temperatures that range between like minus 200 degrees Fahrenheit to 95 degrees Fahrenheit, which is minus 143 Celsius to 35 degrees Celsius. But the coolest weather phenomena we have on Mars are giant dust storms. And these are dust storms that can cover the entire planet for several weeks at a time. So when the dust storms pick up on Mars, they can blanket the entire planet with dust for 3 weeks at a time, 4 weeks at a time. Pretty cool. Now we get to Jupiter. Okay, Jupiter is an amazing planet when it comes to weather. All of the bands that we see, these colorful bands, are the result of slightly different amounts of different materials in the atmosphere. All of these bands are actually part of a weather phenomena. Yeah, dust isn't weather. Someone just forgot to do the cleaning. Honestly, it was the only thing I could find for Mars. Mars is a bit disappointing in terms of extreme weather. Still, a dust storm that covers the whole planet is pretty cool. Okay, Jupiter. This whole system that you see, these whole swirling colors, are clouds. And wherever these colors meet, we have raging storms, really, really big storms. But the most prominent, the most well-known storm on Jupiter deserves its own photo. This is a photo taken by the Juno mission. And what you can see here is the big red spot, the great red spot on Jupiter. Now, this great red spot is about double the size of Earth. You could fit 2 Earths here side by side. And this is a storm. This red swirling glowing eye that looks like Jupiter's looking at you, this is actually a storm. And this is a storm that has been going for at least 300 years. So we have been able to measure this storm over the past 300 years. It's kind of cool, right? It's very, very big. It's very cool. It's a storm that has lasted at least 300 years. And just to make sure that you see that Jupiter is incredibly cool, the next image I'm pulling up is a real image of Jupiter taken by the Hubble Space Telescope. And what you can see here on the northern pole is actually the equivalent of northern lights. This is not a doctored image. This is the real image taken by the Hubble Space Telescope. I am absolutely counting northern lights as weather phenomena because look at that. That is beautiful. And you can see where my vote lies here. Not that that should bias you in any way. Thank you for the wow award, Lucia. Okay, but that is beautiful. But now we get on to Saturn. Saturn also has these bands similar to Jupiter. It has amazing atmospheric conditions. It has clouds everywhere. It has storms. It has lightning. But there is one absolutely incredible thing happening on Saturn. On the southern pole of Saturn, there is a storm that has been raging for years that forms a perfect hexagon. You can see it here. This is a real image by Cassini. The hexagon is a storm. Nobody is exactly sure how it has been formed. We have been able to reproduce it in a lab, so we have been able to form these kind of shapes in a lab, but it's kind of cool. We're not completely sure why it's a hexagon and not some other pattern, but this is actually a hexagonal storm on Saturn. This is incredible. And I want to say again that each side of the hexagon here is about double the size of the Earth. So this is a massive storm that has been going for years, and it forms a perfect hexagon. And this is one of the raw Cassini images in grayscale, but the colored versions of these, oh, I meant to take that off of the screen. The colored version of this deserves its own spot as well, because this is what the hexagon storm looks like. This nice blue hexagon, perfect hexagon. It's a storm that has been raging for years, several times the size of the planet. So, Jupiter has a big red spot. It has auroras, but Yeah, Saturn has a nice pretty hexagon, and I know which way Ian is going to vote here. Okay, 3 planets to go. Let's get this rolling. Uranus. Uranus also has some pretty cool weather events. Let me just find my cheat sheet because I cannot do this by memory. Now, Uranus has the very, very fun thing that it is actually tipped on its side. Uranus is actually tipped on its side. So while most planets spin around their axis like this, if this is the sun, most planets spin around like this, Uranus is actually on its side, so it spins like this. And this leads to the very cool thing. You combine this with the fact that it moves rather slowly, and the end result is that you have winters that last 21 years and summers that last 21 years. During winter, there is no sunlight. You know, you've all heard of the midnight sun in Alaska, or in the north, when you go close to the northern pole, where you either get all of night or all of day. Uranus has this for 21-year cycle. So for 21 years on Uranus, there is no sunlight if you're on one side. And then when it spins around and you're on the other side, you get 21 years of sunlight with no darkness. So in between, you have this phase where it shifts, where you get a bit of both, but there is a 21-year period of no light and a 21-year period of no darkness, which is pretty cool. And I saw the comment there of lots of winds from Uranus. This is actually true. Uranus is the planet with the second strongest winds, but the planet with the strongest winds is actually Neptune. So Neptune has winds that are so ridiculously fast that the wind is moving. Let me see if I can find my numbers here. The wind on Neptune has a very thick atmosphere, which is basically moving constantly. And the winds on Neptune can get as high as 2,000 kilometers per hour, which is 1,300 miles per hour. Wind that is 2,000 kilometers per hour whipping around the planet. That is pretty cool. Okay, so we have Uranus with its ridiculously long days and winters and summers. We have Neptune with its amazing winds. Every planet here deserves a medal. I know this category is so cool. This is my favorite category, and I literally spent like 3 hours yesterday researching this, because I'm giving you the abridged version. The notes I'm reading from are 5 pages of notes. I'm giving you the abridged version here. Now we move on to Pluto, everybody's favorite dwarf. Now, Pluto is covered in methane. Pluto has some really nice things. The coolest thing about it is that Pluto, you might remember from before that Pluto is eccentric. It orbits on an ellipse. Now, Pluto only has an atmosphere sometimes. So when Pluto is close to the sun, the ice on the surface can actually sublimate, which means it goes directly from solid to gas. So the ice on the surface completely goes into gas, and it rises to form an atmosphere. So when Pluto is close to the sun, it does have this thin atmosphere. And thank you to the people reminding me to have a drink, because else I will forget. I'm normally pretty good with my drinks, but today I keep forgetting, so thank you for the reminder. So when Pluto is close to the sun, the ice starts to vaporize and forms this very thin atmosphere. However, once Pluto moves away from the sun and the temperatures cool down, this whole atmosphere turns into snow and crashes back to the planet and leaves a new layer of ice. So the ice on Pluto, every time it's close to the sun, it goes up, it forms an atmosphere, and as Pluto moves away from the sun, it turns into snow and falls back down onto the planet, which is also kind of cool. And let me change my main image here so that you can all see a reminder of everything we've all discussed. Now, I think this round is very tough because honestly, every planet here deserves a medal. All of these planets are amazing. Now, I hope you are ready. I hope you've had time to think about which one you want to vote for. It's a tough one. It's a really tough one. Are you going to go for the hexagon? Are you going to go for the atmosphere that falls down as snow? Are you going to go for hurricanes here on Earth? Okay, you can see why it took 3 hours. Yeah, I got carried away with this event. This is my favorite event of the series. Okay, I hope you are ready. Reminder, you can only vote when the countdown is on the screen, and in between my comments, one vote per person only. And while the vote is going, please don't post other comments because else it's harder for me to keep track. Okay, vote opens in 3, 2, 1. The vote is now open. Get your votes coming. Okay, all of the votes coming. I will tally them all at the end. We still have 15 seconds to go. Get your votes coming. Running out of time. I see the votes kind of finally stabilized a bit. Okay, 5 seconds to go. Get your votes in if you haven't done already, because the votes is now closed. Okay, another round. Let's go round and tally my votes here. I need to find mine. Vote is open. Okay, let's get it going here. So, just going through the list again. The people who take the time to write out the full planet name, I do appreciate it because it actually makes my job very slightly easier. Pablo going for Pluto as always. Okay, I see another vote here for Earth. Lots of numbers coming in. Another one up here. Okay, I am honestly very surprised here. It is easier to vote by name or number. Which you prefer? For me, it's actually easier if you put the name, but it doesn't really make much difference because then I just tally my marks on the page. So it's okay. Whatever you want to do, either it's perfectly fine. Yeah, whichever you want to do, really. But both work fine for me. Okay. So I don't need to cast a tiebreaker vote, and I am very, very surprised. I was not expecting this. Thank you for paying attention to me, Bo. I appreciate it. Okay, so in third place, taking home the bronze with 2 votes, is Saturn and its hexagon. Saturn is only getting the bronze here. I was honestly expecting Saturn's hexagon to do better. Okay, coming in second place, taking home the silver. I know, right? I was surprised. I was so expecting Saturn to do better than that. I'm very surprised by that. Okay, coming in second, taking home the silver for the best weather event with its amazing great red spot, it has to be Jupiter with 3 votes. Jupiter taking home the silver. And we got an incredible amount of love for Earth this round. Earth, with all of its amazing weather phenomena, is actually coming top and taking home the gold today. We had more votes for Earth, so Earth is taking home the gold in terms of extreme weather events. Okay, so we have Saturn taking home bronze. We have Jupiter taking home silver, and we have Earth taking home the gold. I was honestly not expecting Earth to win any golds today, so I am very surprised by this. But that is good. This is why I wanted to leave this completely up to everybody, because apparently we will have very different opinions here, and Pluto got 1 vote. I mentioned that Pluto only got 1 vote here. Okay, so we said in bronze we had Saturn, in silver we had Jupiter, and in gold we have Earth. Okay, Earth seems kind of meh, yeah, but Earth does have a lot of cool things. Personally, I would have gone with the hexagon here because the hexagon is really pretty. But I do like that people have very different opinions on this. Okay, let me just check the total score, how it's going. Okay. This is still wide open. We have 2 rounds. There are still, I think, 4 planets that could take this home today. So this could still go quite a few ways. We have 2 rounds to go. And let me move back to the main image now because I no longer need the weather phenomena. And of course, I just clicked and clicked off. Okay. You misvoted for 5 versus 6. Yeah. Well, then you should type out your answers, makes it easier. Okay. But yeah, if you mistyped, sorry, no re-voting. Okay. Controversy, yes, misvoting. I can't do anything about misvotes, and you can't change your vote afterwards, I'm afraid. Okay, the ninth and penultimate round. One that is again entirely up to you unless we come to a tie. We are going, let me just find, I have notifiers prepared and I keep pushing them to the screen. I just keep forgetting to push them to the screen. And now I nearly pushed two to the screen. Okay. I ran out of voice some time ago. You just found a box of votes. If they're not for Saturn, I don't care. If they're for Saturn, get them in. But yeah, Saturn should have done better there. I was expecting Saturn to do better in that. Okay, so running out of breath again. Let's carry on. We now go into the ninth round of the evening, which is the long distance round. And now we are looking for the best travel destination. So now we're going to move into the realm of hypothetical. Okay, now we have to break a few laws, just not real laws, just we have to suspend our disbelief a bit. And what I'm going to offer now, hypothetically, is a round trip around one of the planets. And we have to make some assumptions here. Now, the assumptions are the rules of the game, the guidelines anyway. The rules of the game are you have a spacecraft, you can go to one of the planets, you do a flyby around that planet, and then you come back home. You do not get to see anything else on the way. You only get to see your planet of choice. And the one big assumption here is that your spacecraft is going to survive. There is no radiation you need to worry about, no heat. It is a perfectly safe journey. And just to make it a bit more interesting, because if we really wanted to go to Pluto, it would take us a couple of years to get there, a bit longer. You can see your planet's moons, but only the closest one. So with Saturn, you can't go and visit all 80 moons, but you can see the 3 or 4 closest. With Pluto, you also get to see the 3 or 4 closest. With all planets, you get to see its closest moons, but you can't do any pit stops along the way. So to make the travel distance a bit more bearable, we are going to assume that we can travel at half of the speed of light. Now, this is a big assumption. We do not have the technology to do this, but it makes the journeys more bearable. So we are assuming that we have a spacecraft that can travel at half the speed of light. It will slow down once it gets to the planet. So it takes a specific amount of time to reach to the planet. Then you get 1 hour loop around the planet and then the journey back home. But, maybe I see David saying here Earth is not going to get much love. Honestly, I would love to see Earth from space. Wouldn't you like to just do a loop around Earth and look back at our planet? It would be amazing. So let's talk travel distance, travel time, because this is important. And remember, we are making the very hypothetical future assumption that we are traveling at half of the speed of light. Now, if you want to go to Mercury currently today, because of course the planets are moving, so the distances change. But if you want to go to Mercury today, traveling at half of the speed of light, it will take you 22 minutes to go there. So you go 22 minutes there, you get 1 hour around the planet, 22 minutes back. Venus currently would also take you 22 minutes under the assumption that we are traveling at half of the speed of light. So you get to go 22 minutes to Venus, one trip around Venus for 1 hour, and back home. In case of Earth, you have less travel distance, but you do get to go up. You get to spend 1 hour around Earth, and then you get to come back down. If you could drive the speed of light and you turn on your headlights, what happens? Then your headlights move away from you at the speed of light. This is part of general relativity, won't go into it now, but whatever speed you are traveling at, light will always travel at the speed of light. Okay, for Mars, again, under the assumption that we are traveling at half the speed of light, it will take you 42 minutes to go to Mars, then you get 1 hour around, 42 minutes to come back. Jupiter is a bit further away now. If we are traveling at half the speed of light, which again is not physically possible currently, it's just an assumption we make for the future. If you are traveling at half of the speed of light, it would take you 68 minutes to reach Jupiter. Then you get 1 hour round trip of Jupiter and then 68 minutes back home. Saturn, we move up to longer distances, 2.5 hours there, 1 hour around Saturn, 2.5 hours back. Uranus, 5 hours, 30 minutes to get there, 1 hour around the planet, 5 hours, 30 minutes to get back. Again, under the assumption that we are traveling at half the speed of light. Neptune, Neptune takes you 8 hours to get there. You get 1 hour around Neptune, 8 hours coming back. Pluto takes you 9.5 hours to get there. You get 1 hour around Pluto, and then you get back. There is no security. We've cleared all of this with security. There is no traffic jams to worry about. Your rocket is fully equipped with snacks. You get to go do a round trip around one of the planets. And now we will get to decide which planet we're going to. Thank you very much for all of the positive feedback here. I'm glad you're all having fun. Honestly, I'm having a blast with this, so I hope you all are too. So the event is long distance. We are looking for the planet we want to get a round trip to. Maybe you want to go see Saturn's rings, or maybe you want to go see Jupiter's big red spots. You don't have to take any billionaires with you. In fact, no billionaires allowed aboard, so you don't need to worry about that either. Maybe you want to go see Pluto's heart close up. Maybe you want to see our own planet. Which one? Which one do you want to go for? Remember that this is entirely up to you. And as before, you have 30 seconds to vote. There is a toilet on the spaceship. Don't worry, I am the one who will definitely build a toilet on the spaceship. So I plan so many bathroom breaks in my road trip. So yes, there is a toilet on the spaceship. You have everything you need. There is no internet on the spaceship, but you can take books with you. Okay, are you ready to pick your travel destination? I hope you're ready, because the vote is open. You have 30 seconds for the travel destination. Okay, I see lots of people want to go see the rings. People want to see Earth. Nice, nice. I think we've lost some participants. It's getting late, been on for an hour and a half. That's normal. Seeing lots of love coming in here. Lots and lots of love. Okay. And the vote is now closed. Okay, let's do my tally of votes again. I didn't have my pen ready this time. Let's go do the tally of votes. I think it's already clear who's going to win this round. Okay, so let's see. Let's go through this. We have 1, 2, another votes here. Just doing all of my voting by hand. Could have come up with a better way of doing this, I'm sure, but I didn't think of one, so we're doing it like this. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of love. There is a very clear winner here again. Very, very clear winner. Okay. Very overwhelmingly clear winner here. So, in third place, in terms of travel distance, taking home the bronze tonight, we have Mars. Mars is our third best travel destination. In second place, this is exhausting. In second place, taking home the silver, is our home planet Earth. A lot of people want to go up and see Earth, and that is perfectly fine. Okay, and with an overwhelming 80% of the votes, Saturn is our top travel destination. Saturn takes home the gold here. An overwhelming, nearly like 80% of the votes. Everybody wants to go to Saturn. Yeah, Saturn is pretty. I mean, it has rings, it has moons, it has a hexagon. Why wouldn't you want to go to Saturn? I appreciate the Saturn love here. So we said, in bronze, we have Mars. Taking home the silver was Earth. And with an overwhelming majority of votes, everybody wants to go to Saturn. So Saturn is taking home the gold again here. Okay, awesome. 9 rounds down. 9 rounds down. We have 1 round to go, the last round. This could be the decider. This is the last chance to get your planets some votes. And this round is going to be easy. It's going to, I think you probably all already know what you're going to vote for here. But maybe somebody has reached a conclusion that they didn't have before. So the last round is going to be fan favorites. You get to vote for your favorite planet with whatever category you want. Maybe you came into this event today, to these Planet Olympics, with one favorite planet, and maybe you've now changed your mind. Maybe you've fallen in love with Saturn's hexagon. Maybe you've fallen in love with the fact that Pluto is the most eccentric planet out there. Maybe you like the fact that, Mercury spins around really slowly and it takes ages to do a loop. Maybe you like that Jupiter is spinning super fast. Maybe you think they're pretty. Maybe it's your favorite travel destination. This is a round where there are no criteria except what you feel is the best planet, your favorite planet. Based on some comments, I'm making guesses as to what people are going to vote for. I already know what some people are going to vote for. And this is the last round. This is your last chance to get your planet on that medal list. And you make your pictures here in the comments. I see people telling you why you should vote for one planet, why you should vote for another. Make your pictures. Try to get people to vote for your planet. Now is the time. I will give you 30 seconds to put in your best pitch, convince everybody to vote for your planet, and then we will open the last vote of the day. So now is the time. I'm seeing comments that Pluto has a heart. There's a planet named Uranus. Yes. We have lots of love for Saturn. So if you want to do a sales pitch for your planet, now is the chance. Okay, some love for Earth as well. It is our only planet. It's where we live. Mercury, obviously, Mercury is pretty. Okay, I hope you have all decided, because the final round of voting, where we are looking for the fan favorites, is starting in 3, 2, 1. The vote is now open. You have 15 seconds to get your vote in. Nearly closing. I'm seeing a lot of love for different planets here. You have a few seconds left, any last minute votes, and the vote is now closed. Okay, thank you for the appreciative word. Okay, I see 2 that came in just after. If they're not double votes, I will count them. I think one of them was a double vote. Okay, no. Let's see. I will go through and count them all here. Thank you so much for all of the awards, everybody. Let's go through and count all of the votes. Okay, so we have this one here, 2 up here. See, a lot of people are voting predictably. Some people voting exactly what I expected you to vote. Not looking at anybody there, Pablo, but I expected you to vote for Pluto. Okay, and I think that is it. Okay. So we are actually going to have to do a tiebreaker. I could cast a deciding vote, but I'm not going to. So fighting for second and third place, for the bronze and for the silver, we have tied on 2 votes each, Mercury and Pluto. So we're going to do another round where you can only vote for either Mercury or Pluto. We're looking for our silver and our bronze medalists, and they are tied with equal amounts of votes. So just checking that I counted all the votes properly here. Let me just check. Okay, yes, 2 for Mercury, 2 for Pluto. So we are going to do a breaker round. We have to do a tiebreaker between Mercury and Pluto. We're going to do the same format. We are looking for silver and bronze medalists. You can only vote now for Mercury or Pluto. Same as always, vote is open, appears in the comments, countdown appears on the screen, vote is closed. You have 30 seconds for the tiebreaker. We are looking to separate our second place and our third place. You can only vote for Mercury or Pluto. Get ready, because we're going into the first tiebreaker. If this comes out as a tie, I will cast a deciding vote. If this comes out as a tie, I will cast a deciding vote. Okay, the votes will open in 3, 2, 1. The vote is open. Pluto or Mercury? Pluto or Mercury, those are your only options. Remember, you can only vote once each. You cannot vote more than once each. Still have 12 seconds, 10 seconds even. I think everybody's done voting, but I'm going to let the countdown run out. Okay, and the vote is now closed. Let's look for our tiebreaker here. I'm sure some of you have already counted the votes quicker than me. And let's see, let's go. We have... I'm just counting the votes. Tiny bit of patience, everybody, if you don't mind. Oh, this is a very, very tight race. Okay. That was very, very close. With 5 votes, and therefore coming in 3rd place, we have Mercury. And with 6 votes, by 1 vote, and therefore coming in 2nd place and taking home another silver medal, we have Pluto. So Mercury finishes 3rd, Pluto finishes 2nd. 1 vote there. This is just to the fan favorite. This is, remember, not the overall medal competition. This was just the fan favorites. There's a 20-second lag. That's really unusual. It's probably because you have bad internet. On the Happs side, usually the lag is low. I'm sorry you have a 20-second lag. I hope you were able to get your votes in anyway. Okay, so Pluto robbed Mercury. Yeah, Pluto robbed Mercury 6-5. Thank you for verifying the votes with me, Pablo. It's good to know I didn't make a mistake there. Seeing lots of love for Pluto, the little planet that could. Okay, so in 3rd place today, in the fan favorites, we have Mercury. Let me just write that down properly. In 2nd place today, for the fan favorite and taking home the last silver medal of the evening, we have Pluto. And in 1st place, with almost all of the votes in the 1st round, in terms of the fan favorites, the gold medal for the fan favorite actually goes to planet Earth, our own planet. A lot of you love planet Earth, and I appreciate that because it is the only planet where there is life for sure, that we know of for sure. There might be others. It's our home planet, so I appreciate the love for Earth. And now we have finished, we got through the 10 rounds. We are almost at the moment of truth where we get to see the final tally. I just need to update my list one more time. Just need to add Mercury in bronze, Pluto in silver, and Earth up here taking home the last gold. Okay, so we are going to follow the same format as the Olympics. We are going to focus first on how many gold medals people have. So it's not about the total medals, it's about the number of gold medals. And let me first figure out which one comes in 3rd place. Okay, so in 3rd place today, taking home the bronze of the evening so we are now looking for our 3 big winners of the night. We are rating them first off based on number of golds. If they are tied on number of golds, we go to number of silvers. If they are tied there, we go to number of bronzes. This is the same way it's counted in the Olympics. So, in 3rd place, bronze, we're taking home the bronze for the entire evening with 2 gold medals and 1 silver medal. We have Pluto. Pluto, not a planet, it was allowed to enter anyway, and it finished 3rd in our overall Planet Olympics. So let's get them up here on screen with me. Let's get our winners up here on screen with me. I know they're planets, they're just photos, they're not winners. Okay, so in 3rd place of the evening, we have Pluto. I just see some comments here. Someone here are just visiting Earth. We need an exoplanet and rogue planet Olympics. Next up, I will get to that. Okay, so 3rd for the evening with 2 golds and 1 silver, we have Pluto. 2nd of the evening, finishing 2nd today with also 2 golds, 1 silver, and 1 bronze is our very own planet Earth. And now, the moment we've been waiting for. I'm pretty sure some of you have already done the count, you figured it out, you know who's going to win. We are ready to announce the planet with the most medals of the evening. With an overwhelming 4 gold, 1 silver, and 1 bronze, we have our winner of the day, which had to be Saturn, the planet with rings, the planet with a hexagon, the planet that can float on water, the planet that has the most moons. This is absolutely amazing. Pluto did really well. Shout out to Pluto for finishing in 3rd, Earth in 2nd today, but Saturn took home the victory. And honestly, I am very surprised by this result. I am very surprised that Jupiter is not up here on screen. I was really expecting this to be a showdown between Saturn and Jupiter, but I was not expecting Earth to be up here in the end. I love that there is so much love and appreciation for Earth. I knew Pluto was going to do well because everybody loves Pluto. Pluto has won the bronze of the evening, 3rd place. Earth is 2nd place, and Saturn finishes top with all of them. Okay, so if anybody wants to see them, I can actually show the final results of how everybody finished. If anybody wants, I will just go through them quickly. But we have our winners of the day, and I will post all of the results afterwards as well, just because it's easier than doing a screen share. So, Mercury finished with 1 bronze, 2 silvers, and 0 gold, totaling 3 medals. Venus did pretty poorly today. Venus finished with no bronze medals, no silvers, and 1 gold medal. Earth, which as we saw already came in 2nd, has 1 bronze, 1 silver, and 2 gold, totaling 4 medals. Mars also took home 4 medals with 3 bronze, 1 silver, but no gold. Jupiter, which was my favorite to win, took home 2 bronze, 2 silver, and only 1 gold. So it is the planet with the 2nd most medals, but it only managed 1 gold. Saturn, our winner of the evening, 1 bronze, 1 silver, 4 gold, totaling 6 medals. Uranus, 1 bronze, 2 silver, no gold, totaling 3 medals. Neptune, unfortunately, does finish bottom of our table. Neptune managed 1 bronze, no silvers, and no gold. He did his best, but Neptune, unfortunately, did not accomplish much today. Neptune only took home 1 bronze. And Pluto, the underdog, the not technically a planet, but allowed to enter anyway, took home no bronze medals, 1 silver, and 2 gold, and those 2 golds were enough to claim the 3rd spot today. So we have our winners. Partly decided by the science, partly decided by you. The best 3 planets in order are Saturn, Earth, and Pluto. Okay, this was exhausting. I hope you all had fun. I really enjoyed this. I think we will do more of these events in the future. As soon as I heard Peter and Pablo say Happs Olympics theme, I knew what I was going to do. I was ambitiously hoping that I could get this done in 1 hour to 1.5 hours. Of course, we're close to the 2-hour mark, to be expected. But I hope you all had fun. This was great fun. Thank you all for the love in the comments. I'm glad you had fun here, Bo. I'm glad you had fun, Vader. Thank you so much. Broadcast of the Year. Wow, I'm not sure if there's a Broadcast of the Year nomination just yet, but thank you. I hope you all had fun. Saturn cheated. Unfortunately, Saturn did come out on top today. Thank you for all of the awards, and thank you everybody for voting and participating. I'm glad we got good participation, else this wouldn't have worked. I'm not sure when I'm going to be online again. I hope to be online soon. In the meantime, I hope you will either go out and celebrate that your favorite planet just won, or try to forget that your planet did badly. But remember that all planets are nice and all planets have good reasons to have won their medals today. So thank you everybody for joining. This has been great fun. I hope to see you all soon, and I hope in the meantime you all have fun and take care of yourselves.